Procuring sharp images is always a sublime goal for any photographer. In this video, you will learn how to get a tech sharp image by following 3 simple steps. Factors such as focus, shutter speed, and to some extent your post-processing skill plays a vital role in procuring a sharp image. But there is one more factor to it apart from all this, and that is the effect of a handshake while you are taking a picture handheld. Obviously, the ideal thing would be to use a tripod. But if that is not available or that is not practical, especially during a jungle safari, then you can use a bin bag. It provides a reasonable amount of sturdy support to your footage or your photograph. But sometimes you have not carried a bin bag or it is not available. Then in that case, anything, a bar, horizontal bar of your gypsy or any vertical bar like this, take a support from that. When you take a support, it drastically improves the steadiness of your resultant image. So always pay attention and take a photograph with any support. But sometimes you have to take a handheld photograph. So in that case, how to get a steady image? So follow these 3 simple steps to get that particular steadiness in your resultant image. The first thing is, there is a rule of 1:1. That means when you are taking a photograph in a handheld manner, your resultant shutter speed must be at least reciprocal to your focal length or more than that. That means if I am using a 200mm focal length, my shutter speed, minimum shutter speed must be 1/200th of a second or more than that. If I am using 400mm, obviously it should be 1/400th of a second or more than that. But remember here, we are talking about an effective focal length and not the actual focal length of the lens. That means if I am using a 400mm lens along with my crop sensor body, my effective focal length becomes 600mm. And in that case, my minimum shutter speed for a handheld photography with this equipment would be 1/600th of a second. And if I use a teleconverter along with this assembly, then in that case my effective focal length would further increase, and naturally my shutter speed has to be increased that way. Now this particular rule of 1:1 takes into account 2 things. Number one, as you magnify your image, you can see more blurriness. And number two, as the length of your lens increases, its flexibility increases, because remember the science of physics that as the length increases, your flexibility would increase. So that is number one step, that is 1:1 rule. Number two step is to use a vibration reduction or the VR facility on your lens. Some other brands of the camera will call it IS, that is image stabilization, or OS, that is optical stabilization. When you use this VR facility, nowadays the lenses are coming with VR2 facility. In VR1 facility, there was a single stop advantage. That means if I am using a focal length of 400mm, my according to 1:1 rule, that would become my minimum shutter speed would be 1/400th of a second. But if I use a VR facility, that is VR1, I can have one stop advantage. That means I can use a shutter speed of 1/200th of a second with 400mm lens with the same type of result. But nowadays VR2 lenses are available. VR2 lenses provides you 3 stop advantage. That means with 400mm I can take a photograph with 1/50th of a second. One stop is 1/200 second, two stop is 1/100 second, half of 1/100 second is 3 stop, that is 1/50th of a second. So if you are using a VR lens, then you can have 3 stop advantage. But I have seen practically that even after using a VR2 facility, I cannot theoretically go up to that much three-stop advantage. Even you must have noticed it. So that takes us to step number 3. That is, hold your breath, tuck your hands, stand comfortably, and then shoot. This way, it will improve the steadiness of your resultant image. So these are the 3 steps you must keep in mind if you are shooting handheld. But whenever it is possible, use a tripod or a bin bag or any horizontal or vertical platform. There is no heroism in shooting handheld. Ultimately, your images which are captured are judged, not how you captured it, whether handheld or with a tripod. I hope you got the message clear. So, next time, keep these things in mind and keep exploring. Thank you very much.